Well, what happens when all people get together in a group? You know, we talked about that last time when we talked about Kierkegaard's idea that as soon as you get a bunch of people together, no matter how truthful they are all as individuals, instantly the crowd is not a truthful thing. And you know, there are real reasons for that, real psychological reasons. So there's the famous Asch experiments, I hope that those are the right experiments, A-S-C-H, about line length, you know. So you draw two lines on the board and they're the same length, and you get the crowd to, you know, collaborate with you, and you ask some poor sucker who doesn't know about the game to play, and you know, you ask one person and they say, no, those lines are different in length, and you ask another person, they say, well, yeah, they're quite different in length, and another person says, yeah, sure, I can see the difference in length, and then you ask the poor pigeon, you know, are they different in length, and he says, yes, you know, and you can understand why. It's like, if all those other people are saying it, there's either something wrong with all of them, which seems unlikely, or he's the victim of a conspiracy, which is a little on the paranoid side, but happens to actually be true in this case, or he's just not looking at it right. And you might think, well, the humble thing to think is he's wrong. And so, you know, the fact that somebody might go along with the crowd, you know, you can blame that on their ability to be social and conventional, which in many ways is a huge advantage, because if you are all antisocial and unconventional, you know, I mean, there'd be a good chunk of you in jail, and we certainly wouldn't be having this, you know, delightful, peaceful conversation that we're having. So, you know, you don't want to underestimate the utility of conventionality to too much of a degree. Anyway, so there's this funny story I read once. I don't think it's true, but it might be, where a psychology class got together and decided they'd play a trick on the professor. And the trick was that he would walk back and forth, and the trick was that they wouldn't pay any attention to him at all if he was on the left side of the room. You know, they'd talk a bit and look up, and if he was on the right side of the room, then they'd really focus in and pay attention. And the story goes that by several weeks of this little trick, they had him like lecturing right beside the door, you know, and he wouldn't move from that spot. And so the reason I'm telling you that is because it's pretty obvious that people can respond to the cues that a crowd is delivering. You know, and a good speaker does that, right? So a good speaker does a variety of things, and one is he never talks to the crowd per se. You know, you pick out specific individuals and talk to them, and they're sort of reflective of the crowd, and then you can tell if everybody's understanding. And the other thing that a good speaker does is pay attention to the damn responses of the crowd. Because, you know, if a lecture is really a dialogue, even though the audience is only emitting the nonverbal elements of the conversation, those nonverbal elements, those damn things are important. So, you want to stay in touch with the nonverbal communication.